Hello there, kia ora. If I had $1 for every time this government changed a $3 billion major infrastructure project that was desperately needed without an actual replacement plan, just an edict to be cheaper, well, I'd have $2, which isn't much despite the fact that that's what the government thought low-income earners deserved when they gave out their tax breaks. But it is kind of weird that this has happened twice. Yesterday, Chris Bishop and Dr. Shane Reti were in Dunedin, a city that's been calling out for years for a new hospital that's fit for purpose to their community, now and into the future, so that they could tell stakeholders that they needed to rethink the plans and scale back. It took years to plan and settle on designs and begin the process, and the need for a new hospital for the region is something that locals have been calling for years. And the possibility of this exact thing happening was raised as a spectre during the election campaign. In fact, although the election campaign, and up until at least June this year, National was promising that there was nothing to worry about. In fact, they were going to make it even better with more beds. Turns out there was something to worry about. No matter how often they were grilled about it, they kept doubling down, but apparently the costs blew out. Now, no one and no government wants costs to blow out, but when it comes to big projects over long periods, there's lots of factors that can lead to cost changes. Not just the costs of materials or labor or the impacts of inflation, but changing demographics of the area or hospital services can lead to needs for different equipment and expertise than were originally planned. And when cost blowouts happen, tough calls have to be made. So when a hospital needs more money to be fit for purpose, especially on the back of stories like this, which included a 5-hour wait time for a pregnant woman on a really hard chair before she was seen, we know that any government is going to see it as a tricky area when it comes to the decision that they have to make. And a blowout to $3 billion, well, it would have to be a really good, needed reason to continue being funded. Not like a hospital, like landlord tax cuts. Remember this from March? The government landlord tax breaks blew out from 800 million to 2.9 billion. That's just shy of the new estimated cost of the Dunedin hospital. It's more than the cost of the entire IREX ferry infrastructure upgrade. And yes, that is a lot of money, but it's a lot of money for infrastructure that would be fit for purpose for decades to come. It's a long-term investment into the backbone of the country. And together, the Dunedin Hospital and the ferry upgrades, they're still less than half the total tax cut package National bought in this year, which will cost an estimated $14.6 billion over 4 years. $12 billion of that was to be borrowed. No one denies we need hospitals. No one denies we need fit-for-purpose infrastructure. But the idea of borrowing to pay for those as opposed to borrowing to give tax cuts makes some people really uncomfortable. Mostly the sort of people who work on the 9th floor of the Beehive and think forcing people to work in the office will save a CBD decimated by the 6,000 and counting people they fired from leaving the area. The reality is, most New Zealanders would rather not have a $20 a week tax cut if it means people miss out on healthcare, if the country misses out on significant infrastructure. Most Kiwis understand that despite screeches that debt will be paid off by our grandkids, investing in areas our grandkids will still be using is a good use of debt. But if you listen to some politicians, well, any debt is bad, and you'll just have to suffer because of it. Here. The links to other things that come at the end of YouTube videos.